Princess Luna's Enchanted Garden. In a large and beautiful castle in the center of a peaceful village, there once lived a very kind princess who had many friends and ruled over the village with wisdom and kindness. This princess loved her subjects very much and enjoyed seeing them happy, but most of all, she loved helping them in any way that she could. However, this princess was also very sad, for she had never fallen in love and felt she had no true reason to be happy, even though she had everything she could have ever wanted. One day, while out on a walk, she saw that one of the trees in her village had died, and its leaves had fallen and scattered over the ground, leaving a bare branch and a very large hole in the canopy of the forest. She felt so sad for the tree that had once lived there and decided to build a birdhouse for the bird family that had once lived there. So the princess began to work, gathering wood and nails, and after much time and effort, the birdhouse was built. She placed the birdhouse on the branch, high in the air, so the birds could be safe from foxes and cats, and then waited to see if any birds would come. As she waited, a young Pegasus flew down and asked what she was doing. "I'm building a home for the birds that used to live here," said the princess. The Pegasus was intrigued and began to help the princess make more birdhouses. The Pegasus, who was a very talented carpenter, used the wood and nails to make the most beautiful and comfortable houses the princess had ever seen. The two spent days building homes for all the animals, and the princess grew very close to the Pegasus, whose name was Luna. Luna was also a princess, but she was very shy and had no friends in her own kingdom, so she had moved to the princess's village. Her talent for woodworking and love of animals had made her popular, and she had been welcomed into the princess's kingdom with open arms. The two princesses worked together side by side for weeks, building a paradise for the animals, and they became the best of friends. As time went by, the princess realized that she had fallen in love with Luna. She had never met someone who shared her love for animals and enjoyed being around her. They could talk for hours about the smallest and most trivial of things, and yet they would always find something to talk about. Luna was shy and awkward around others, but the princess found her to be the most endearing and fascinating person she had ever met. But the princess was worried that Luna did not love her in return and did not want to tell her, fearing that it would ruin their friendship. One day, while Luna and the princess were working together, the princess asked Luna if she would like to live in the castle with her. Luna was thrilled at the idea and gladly agreed, and the two happily settled down and lived in the castle together as best friends. But one day, while the princess and Luna were on their usual walk through the forest, they came across a large patch of beautiful and colorful flowers. "They're so lovely, Luna," the princess said. "Let's pick some and bring them back to the castle." But Luna was worried about the flowers. "We can't take them," she said. "We can't pick the flowers from their home." The princess tried to convince her, but Luna refused, and they argued until finally, the princess stomped off and picked the flowers. Luna was upset, but the princess just thought she was jealous and ignored her. The next day, the princess came to wake up Luna, only to find her still asleep. She tried to wake her, but Luna would not wake up. After much effort, she finally opened her eyes, only to find that her wings had disappeared. Luna had become a statue, a beautiful white marble statue of herself, lying on her bed. She was frozen in stone, and no one could wake her. The princess was heartbroken, and she mourned the loss of her dear friend. But the princess had learned her lesson, and she promised herself that she would never again take anything from nature that was not hers. She knew now how cruel it was to take something from its home and never give anything back. She vowed to always protect the forests and the animals that lived in them, and she would always remember Luna and how she had tried to stop her. The princess and Luna's families mourned together, and the princess's heart was broken. 1 year after Luna's passing, the princess decided to dedicate the rest of her life to helping the forest animals and building a place where they could all live and thrive. She created a beautiful park called Luna's Enchanted Garden. Every tree and bush and flower in the garden were hand-planted and lovingly cared for by the princess. It was a paradise for the animals and the people, a place of beauty and wonder where everyone could be happy and live together. The park became the most popular attraction in the whole country, and people from all over came to see it and experience its magic. The princess would greet everyone with a smile, and her park was filled with laughter and joy. She became known as the Queen of the Animals, and her kindness was legendary. The animals were her dearest friends, and they all loved her and trusted her completely. After many years of hard work, the Queen's beloved garden was completed. The animals and the people were so happy and grateful that they made her a gift. They made her the Queen of the Animals, and they all swore to protect her and her park and the animals that lived there. The Queen was overjoyed, and she was able to continue to help the animals and protect her forest as she had always wanted. One night, the Queen was walking through the garden, and she came upon a very strange sight. There, in the middle of the garden, was a beautiful statue of Luna lying in the grass. The Queen was stunned. It looked exactly like her old friend. She was sure it was her, but it was made of stone. How could that be? The Queen ran to get her friends, and together they all came to the garden. The Queen explained what had happened, and the animals all gathered around the statue. They looked at it and touched it, and they all knew that it was really Luna. She had somehow come back to them. The Queen was ecstatic. She threw her arms around the statue and kissed it. Then suddenly the statue came to life. Luna was back, and she was just as beautiful as ever. She smiled at the Queen and embraced her. The Queen was overjoyed, and the other animals were overjoyed, and the whole park celebrated, and it was the happiest night of the Queen's life. After that, the Queen and Luna were never apart. They were both rulers of the forest and of the animals, and they made the best friends anyone could ask for. They cared for the forest and the animals together, and everyone was happy.